Hello everyone, I'm here to do the reading for the new moon in Gemini on the 3rd of June. This is a general reading, so it will apply for all signs. These are just messages that we can use to work on with this energy of this new moon. So we all know that the new moons are a good time to set intentions and to start this new lunar cycle. This new moon is in Gemini, and we will probably feel a little bit of this Gemini energy through it, which would be maybe spending time a lot in our heads, thinking. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so it's moving very, very fast. So yeah, let's see how can we use these energies and what are the energies that are supporting us or that are challenging us to learn more. I will do I pre-shuffle the cards. I will do a more classic spread right now. I will do a Celtic cross for us to have more specific slots if you want to say, and sometimes it can be beneficial to have very, very specific positions. All right guys, so this will be the heart of the problem. This will be the opposing factor. This will be the root cause. This would be the what's in our conscious mind, what we know. This is past influence. This is what's coming in the future to influence the situation. This is ourselves in this present situation, or we can say our approach. How do we see it? How do we work on it? This is our environment. This is advice. And this is possible outcome. Where is this leading to? So, a disclaimer. In my perspective as a reader, tarot is not supposed to guess the future or the past or anything. And we do have free will. No matter what cards do show up that say it's just a possible outcome based on the current situation, and we still have time to change whatever outcome that is. Also, it doesn't necessarily mean that this outcome will happen even if it's a very positive one. We still need to do the work. We still need to... So this is just information. This is like a map of what are the current energies and how we work with them, or what do they really mean to us at a very, in a real life, real time experience. It can be different. All right, so let us see what is the heart of the problem. Sorrow, sadness. What is the opposing factor? What's the challenge right now? Right, the challenge is getting in touch with our emotions here. Yeah, we don't really like to be in this Five of Cups energy. You know, the Five of Cups is somebody who is grieving, somebody who's letting go of something. These 3 cups here on the floor, he still got 2, and he may be aware of it. Some of us may be aware of it. Okay, yes, I still have 2 cups. I'm not, it's not horrible, but I still need to take this time to grieve for what I have lost, you know. The 5 of Cups is a card of loss. So what is it that we lost? What is it that we need to feel in order to release it, you know? Because if we don't allow ourselves to feel whatever it is that needs to be felt, then we get stuck in that. We keep it, we push it in our subconscious mind, and then we carry it with us. We carry the limiting beliefs that may come from this. We carry the sadness with us forever. And then whenever other situations, you know, life is life. It's never going to be only happy, happy, joy, joy. No matter how well you learn how to navigate this world, we're still, bad things can happen to good people, and so on and so on and so on. So the way we respond, though, it's different, right? It is absolutely normal to take time to grieve, and that's the release process. This is what I'm trying to say. And in the future, if we don't take this time, if we never really allow ourselves to feel the loss that we just keep ourselves busy and move on. Sometimes the idea, the typical idea, the mainstream idea of moving on is starting dating someone else immediately to put oneself out there, or distracting oneself, friends taking, you know, it's funny when somebody breaks up and the friends come over and like, no, it's time to go party. And then they party for days and days and days, and that's not really helping. They just believe like these attitudes only enable us to not feel, enable us to be distracted, or enable us to process it in a not the healthiest way. If we do actually give ourselves some time, dedicated time to grieve, then whether it's a breakup, whether it's the death of someone you love, whether it's the loss of a position or status, whatever it is that you feel like this about, it is okay to cry. It is okay to take some time to just really feel the loss and the sadness that comes with that, knowing that not everything is lost, knowing that you have 2 cups still to move on, and that these cups will be refilled at some point. Like, these guys got a river right there. He can refill these cups, but he needs to take this time, you know. And yes, having the Page of Cups here as your challenge is doing it. The challenge would be really going in there and allowing yourself to feel this, and understanding the messages that your emotions are sending, because, you know, grief can come in so many ways. It can come it's just raw pain, really. And then we start giving it meanings. Oh, if you associate this raw pain with other kinds of meanings, we can literally misread it. We can say, okay, oh, this always happens to me. There's something wrong with me. That's a wrong interpretation of the emotion. And it just shows unconscious or subconscious problems in the past that haven't been resolved, which we all do. I mean, it is a kind of how we function based on our current conditioning. So we need to learn to work with that in order to set ourselves free from this conditioned behavior, you know. Another challenge that may feel like, it's also this feeling of neediness. You know, whenever we feel like this, we kind of really don't want to feel. So we are relying on our friends to distract us. We are relying on other people to come date us, or you know, save us from whatever it is that we're feeling. And that's detrimental. That's really not helping. It might help not feel, but that's not the point. Another problem that could show up is getting lost in here. You know, sometimes we can like, okay, yes, I'm going in there. I'm going to feel my pain fully and just allow it to pass. But sometimes we can literally get lost in there. We can get swept off our feet. We can start drowning into our own sorrow and pain. And we can start feeding it. We can get addicted to our own pain and our depression and our sadness and our loss. And we can use that loss as an excuse to not live life any longer. If you feel that this is the case, if you feel that you're getting lost in your own sadness, pay attention to your thoughts that come through that. Pay attention to the ideas and the limiting beliefs that you're associating with those emotions. Oh, this will never go away. I will never feel happy again. This always happens to me. Oh, they left me because there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not all of these. Those are fabrications of the mind. This is not the case ever. If somebody leaves some other person, if say it's a couple and one person leaves, it's because they have their own things to deal with. And yet they may perceive you as not good enough, but that has not anything to do with your being good enough or not. There is no such thing, because that's not on the table. That had never been on the table. The conclusions we make about ourselves in any situations are delusions. Those are the delusions, because we should not go into the place of judging ourselves in that way. Does this say something about my worth? Does this say something else about my worth? Oh, I need this in order to feel good enough about myself. No, none of this. And it's normal. We are social beings. That's this way of being conditioned. But we need to learn to understand that our worth has never been on the table. Yes, I can learn from everything. Yes, we can make mistakes. Yes, we can feel sorry about things that we've done, but it doesn't say or reflect in any way my value. And yes, even if people leave us, or if we are being let go from jobs or things like this, again, we can learn from the experience, but it doesn't say absolutely anything about our worth and value. This is the root cause. This is what's happening in your subconscious mind. And I get it. I get it. You can feel stabbed in the back here. You can feel betrayed by someone. Or it can simply be this feeling of like feel beat up and like you have no more power to move on. It feels like the dark night of the soul here, you know. But again, it's a 10, so it's the end of it. This is the end of a cycle. This is the end of a mental cycle, the way we think about certain things. And this is why I'm saying we need to see from what is it that we associate with these unconscious, like what's coming from the unconscious mind that associates with these feelings that we consider negative, by the way. The emotions are never negative or positive. Emotions are just information. We need to learn to understand them without giving those, without attaching those ideas that have to do somehow with my worth. That's it. And I think this is what's ending right now, but this is a painful process, right? This is a process where it can feel very destabilizing. It can feel like a death, right? Because it's a way of being. We are, as I said, we can get so damn attached to our depression and our negative emotions and all that. As I said, they're not negative, but we perceive them as such. And when we are forced to shed off this skin by the circumstances, by life, then yes, it can feel this bad. It can feel like the more we resist, actually, the more it feels like painful. Let's see what is in the past influence. The moon. Again, I find it so funny when I see the moon in my moon readings. I think it appears in pretty much all of them. Okay, so past influences, the moon. This is something in your past that is influencing the current situation, and I think it's fear. It's raw fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of moving on, fear of having one's expectations not be met, and fear of failure, fear of success, fear of everything. And yeah, I get it. Fear of letting go, fear of feeling. There's so much fear. And we need to learn to work with the fear. Fear can be just like you have here, the dog and the wolf howling at the moon, and this little guy here is like terrified. Well, they symbolize our fears, our subconscious fears, our conscious, all the fears. And this guy here can make the courage to pass through and learn how to tame the fear, learn how to tame these guys, and they become allies. It's the same with the fear, and think about this. Don't dismiss this as a metaphor. We can learn how to work with the fear and use it as an ally. Fear is a very basic emotion, and we all need it for survival. We should be grateful we have fear. It's part of our survival mechanism, right? So it is normal to have fear. The thing is that the fear becomes really detrimental when we're pushing it away, when we are we don't want to look at it, when we don't want to feel it, when we are, fear can feel pretty bad, right? So we tend to just push it away. That's when it actually starts having power over us and control us and freeze us. But do take time to really look into your fears. Do take time to understand your fears. Maybe it's some fears are justified and some are not, and it's okay. The point is to feel it through and keep it in your heart, but do not let it control you. And just like with the moon has to do also with shadows, right? It is the same with working with the shadow self. If we are not willing to look into the dark side of our psyche, then that side has more power over us. And that side is fueled by our fears. This is how everything is being controlled. We are very simple mechanisms, really. We just want to survive. And everything that we are equipped with, including our emotions and feelings, are survival mechanisms. And our behaviors are learned patterns of defense. So it is very important to understand what fear is what is a perceived threat and what is a real threat. Yes, if I keep doing this, say, I don't know, if I had a very irrational behavior and I've been like maybe lost in depression for a long time, and I'm afraid I may be losing my job. That may be real. I may be losing my job. Unless I come out and learn how to cope with the situation. Maybe it's time to get some counseling, or maybe it is time to really address this. Okay, let's see what's in your conscious right now. You do have friends, you do have support, and you see it and you know it, but it is also very important how you use this support. If you use this support to just distract yourself, then this is not, you're not really going to learn from this. You're just going to have to carry it with you, this pain, forever. Do not allow your monkey mind to just take over. Do not allow the fear to control you. You can use your friends, if they're offering support, you can use that support by really sharing deeply what is it that you're really afraid of. Help them to process, but more like allowing them to help you to process. And most of the time our friends really can be very kind with us, and we can be very kind with our friends, but many times we just take it like, okay, of course you're supposed to say that, like it's a joke, like if you go to a wedding, of course you're gonna tell the bride she's the most beautiful bride in the world. Go in with honesty. If they are telling you that this, whatever it is, doesn't say anything about your worth, well, they're right. Take that. If they do, well, they're just as misguided. If they say that this reflects poorly on you, but most of the time, that's not what friends do, right? But don't say that, like, of course they're going to say that because they're just friends. Also, look at and ask maybe for feedback of something that it is that you don't see. What is it that you see from your side about this whole situation that I don't see? Let's just see a different perspective. It's normal that we have blind spots, and it's normal that we are conditioned by our own fears and defense mechanisms. Sometimes we really see only what we want to see, or what we've been conditioned to see. And sometimes if we're only conditioned to see sadness and defeat, this is all we're going to see everywhere. That's why it's really important to take the perspective of other people in. You don't necessarily need to believe it as the truth. You don't need to use it and replace it with your own. It's just getting a bigger picture. All right. Let's see what's coming in the future that will influence the current situation. The Queen of Swords. Well, the Queen of Swords is someone who has been through all this many times. She's learned so much from this, and she is very, very aware. She knows how to take care of herself, and she is really honest with herself and with the others. A little bit too honest. Brutally honest. But she's a queen. She's ruled by the drive of the heart. She's a good therapist. Maybe this is one that you have in your life that you can make use of her skills. That, maybe she's a good analyst. She can analyze things. She can help you. Like, she's the mother of ideas. She can help you look at these ideas that you've internalized that hold you back, or whether you allow yourself the time to feel or not. We do internalize a lot of limiting beliefs, and in meanings and interpretations that we give that somehow are always to our detriment, that have to do with the way we interpret events in our life most of the time. So maybe it's important, if it's it can be you embodying this energy. It can be somebody in your life that you either know or don't know, or maybe it is literally looking for therapy. The Queen of Swords, when she appears in a reading, can mean just that. Maybe it is time to look for counseling. And just for those of you that have never done therapy, this is not just something reserved for the crazy people. The therapy, there's a lot of people have this belief that if one goes to therapy, then there's something really wrong with them. No, I really firmly believe that each and every one of us could benefit from therapy, because therapy, of course, depends on the methods and on blah 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 and the problem, but I believe that we are all neurotic in certain ways, and we as a race, as a people, um, have no clue how to deal with our emotions. Really, there's very few of us that are really like emotionally mature and are more gifted in that way, in that direction. But this is nothing that we learn in school. Okay, how to work with my emotions, how do I process all this, what is it that's really important, what how do I learn to use my emotions as a compass and to learn the information without engaging the mind in this way? How to learn that I'm not my mind and I'm not my emotions? How to learn who I am? You know, seeking help is probably the first mature act that we can do whenever we are in need of help. And if we get a little bit lost in here, maybe it is time to seek some professional help. Okay, and in my youth, for example, when I was in university, I could not afford therapy. And there were some pretty dark moments that I really needed it. Check out support groups, check out sharing groups, check out a group therapy, things that can be either free, provided by the government, depending on, I don't know, the position where you are, or things that can be really, really cheap. But there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't say anything about you. It is something to look forward to. Okay, so this is pretty much the way you see yourself, what's your approach in this whole situation. And the Emperor is somebody who's like pretty very structured, somebody who cares a lot about structure, about how to do things in a very strict way, a little bit, maybe a little bit too strict. The dark side of the Emperor is like he could be a little bit tyrannical, but he's got a lot of good sides, and I think that you're doing the things that empower you, right? So structure is important, especially when we're hit by the blues for some reason or another. We can be completely structureless. So this is important, but don't overdo it. If we put too much emphasis on structure and on a very like clear schedule or something, then we can give ourselves another excuse to beat ourselves up. You know, we can set ourselves up for failure. So if we're too tyrannical with ourselves, we can just literally create these dynamics of, oh, I have to do all this stuff because I want to, and then I won't be able to do it because, I don't know, procrastination, because this, because that, because yeah, I'm still there somewhere in my mind. But yeah, and if it's unrealistic, then we literally just create more reason to feel bad about ourselves. So we need to take it with baby steps, especially if we're struggling with depression in this period. Those of you that are feeling really depressed, it's really about baby steps. I've been through depression, and you feel like you can't do anything. You don't have the energy, you don't have the will. You barely want to leave the bed. And then you feel bad about yourself, like, oh, come on, what is this? Why am I like this? I should do something about this. I can't stay in bed all the time. I'm doing this to myself, whatever. And then sometimes not very enlightened friends can come and say, oh, just go and do some sports, oh, just blah, 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 do this. Everybody seems to have an opinion about how you should deal with your situation. And that makes it feel even worse, because we're like, it's not like I haven't thought about that, it just doesn't work for me right now. So, but in that case, the emperor would really not work. Yes, it is important to give some framework of some structure, but it needs to be a very compassionate way to deal with this, instead of like setting goals like, okay, I want to wake up at 6 a.m. and I want to go for a run and do this and do that, and then by 12 I already had done all these things. It isn't realistic in this situation. Yes, I can try to wake up at 6 a.m. and I can try to do 1-2 minutes of yoga. It's fine. 2 push-ups, no more than that. Whatever feels incredibly accessible and realistic. And then we can build up on that. And then if I do this 3 days in a row and one day I didn't, instead of like sinking down and say like, no, this is hopeless, I can't keep a routine, things like this, we can go the other way and say, okay, yeah, I can forgive myself for not doing it right now. It's all right. I'm going to start again tomorrow with only 1 push-up or 2 push-ups, or yoga, or whatever it is that you need to feel a little bit more revigorated. A walk in the park, leaving the bed. You know, we are the emperor. We can learn what is the structure that works for us. And a good emperor is an emperor that knows what his people need, and he's providing that. He's not only ruling through brute power. That would be tyranny, brute force. So your surrounding environment is very supportive. You already have the support here from your network. Sometimes we may not be able to see it because, I don't know, we're so stuck in this dark place, but I think it's there. And here's the Ace of Pentacles in your surrounding environment. You have there's opportunity here. There's a lot of opportunity here. There's so much growth coming from processing of these emotions and from learning how to cope with them and not get like, not drown in them either. This emperor could also signify that it is sometimes important to just give dedicated time. If we allow ourselves to feel these emotions that probably we haven't felt for a long time, or we didn't allow ourselves to grieve at the right time, and things like this can be something from pretty long, but it is important to do it in dedicated time. 1 hour a day I allow myself to go in there, and that's why we have rituals. That's why in church, or in you know, in for example, like dealing with mourning in a Christian church. I don't know if it's in all of them, because there's too many. My knowledge is not that vast about each and every church in Christianity, but I know that they have rituals of mourning. Okay, there starts at this time and it ends at this time, and people are crying and are going through, but then they keep going, you know, and that really helps to have like a marked beginning and a marked end of this practice of mourning, of feeling lost and feeling the emotions and feeling all this. Because if we get swept off our feet, then it's not really gonna help, right? But there's a lot of growth that's happening from this. The Ace of Pentacles is it's an energy that shows potential for real growth in your life. Once you integrate the parts that need this time, once you're like facing the fears, once you allow this skin to be shed off, once you're tuning in with your friends and with your support group and family, and really allow yourself to feel the connection and love, once you learn how to put the boundaries that you need to put, how to communicate what needs to be communicated, once you learn how to seek help if you need help, and allow yourself to be helped, once you learn how to work with yourself where you're at right now, at your own pace, based on your current needs, not the needs that you had 2 months ago. A lot of us would be like, okay, wait, I'm used to meditate 1 hour a day. Now I only meditate 10. I feel so bad about myself, 10 minutes. No, it's okay. If this is the only thing I can do right now, meditate just 10 minutes. If I normally run 10K a day and now I only run 1K, it's perfect. I need to make a schedule and I need to meet myself where I am. And it's fine. And then we can build up on that. But if we put unrealistic expectations, then it's not really going to help. It's just setting ourselves up for failure. And this is your advice. Your advice is to dream big right now, to really tune into your intuition. And the moon is also a card of intuition, right? But in this case, I think it's very much related to fears. But this is also about fear, right? This is like not really knowing what to choose. You have so many options there. Which one is the right one for you? But with this card, it's like allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to really, really feel and visualize what will work for you, and tuning into your intuition. You can choose this with your eyes closed, just based on your intuition. You will know which one's right for you. So allow yourself to tune into your intuition. Allow yourself to really visualize what would your life look like. What would you like? What would happiness look like for you? Can you even see it? Do you have any idea? We sometimes seek for happiness. So we're searching for it so frenetically, but we have no clue. What does that even mean? What would make me happy? And then we go back into this sadness. Oh, nothing will ever make me happy. So take time and visualize. Take time and think what could really work for you. What is realistically possible for you to feel good. And this is planting intention. It's a new moon, planting the seeds of intention. Something that's realistic, something that works for you, something that you think you need right now. And all this leads to being the magician. Being the magician, we are manifestors. We are creating our own world. We have everything that we need here on the table, and we have the knowledge. Our thoughts create the universe that we live in, your personal universe. No, there's in Buddhism they talk about the relative reality and absolute reality. We are living in a relative reality, all of us. There's an absolute reality out there, but we can't really perceive it. We can only perceive it through our own filters. And if I have poison in this cup, and if my sword is rusty, and if my pentacle is broken, and my wand is rotten, then this is the universe that I'm perceiving. We have everything well and functioning. We learn how to use them. We learn how to truly manifest our lives and our the experiences that we need to have. And this is also like knowing that we did sign a contract when having this existence, and we want to, like a karmic contract, and we're having these experiences because our soul wants us to grow. Magic happens when we learn to surrender to life. Surrendering does not mean that I'm beat up and I'm not doing anything anymore for myself. I lock myself in my room and that's it. No, surrender means stop resisting the experience, stop denying, stop. It's just like, okay, taking things for what they are, and it can give you the freedom to respond to life rather than to react to life. This is what surrender really does. And that's in that moment of minimum resistance is when everything flows, is when we can actually manifest, is when we can actually really create the life for us. It's counterintuitive. It sounds a little bit scary. Like by letting go is when you actually gain control. By stopping any kind of resistance is when you gain any kind of control, really. That's when you become the magician. And here we are. This is a beautiful process. It's a process of letting go. It's a process of feeling our feelings. It's a process of shedding off skins. And it's a process of creating what it is that we really need. Be our own, learn how to reparent ourselves, seek help if we need, and learn to move forward based on what we really need. Visualize what we really need, and then we make it happen. This is a beautiful new moon reading. I hope these messages are reaching those in need of them. And for those of you that are really going through terrible loss, my condolences, and I feel for you. I send you all the love and support that I can muster, and stay strong. And there's a lot of strength in vulnerability, and there's a lot of strength in sharing and connecting. There's a lot of strength in asking for help, and there's a lot of strength in just, as I said, meeting ourselves where we are and being gentle and compassionate with ourselves. So have a very, very fruitful new moon, and create this beautiful, beautiful universe in this new lunar cycle. If you resonate with this reading, please like, share, and subscribe. It will really help my channel grow, and it will help these messages to reach more people in need of them. So again, thank you so much for all that. Bye bye.